Hello lovely people, it's your girl Obaa Yaa. If you're new to my channel, I say welcome, and if you are a returning subscriber, thank you for tuning back in. In today's video, I want to talk about how to retain length with fine hair. Yes, I know a couple of people struggle with retaining length generally, but then those of you who have fine hair might be struggling a little bit more or even more because of the nature of fine hair. So if you were interested in knowing what to do and what not to do, then stay tuned. Before we dive right into it, please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on the post notification, and also check me out on Instagram. Okay, I'm done with self-promo. Now, without further ado, let's get right into this topic. Basically, fine hair is a strand of hair that is thinner than a piece of thread that has been cut in half, vertically cut in vertically cut in half like this. So this is a piece of thread, and then it's been split into half, and that half is considered the average strand of hair. And if your hair is thinner than that, then your hair is considered fine. I actually have a video where I talk about the different hair textures, and if you are interested in watching that video, it might enlighten you as to what kind of texture you have. You can click on the I button and it will take you right to that video. But first of all, watch this video. But if you don't have any clue about anything, maybe you watch that video and then you come back to this video and then you get more information. Okay, it is very possible for someone to have different kinds of textures. For example, I have fine hair in the front. Even though I have fine hair, my front section grows faster than the rest of my hair. So even though I have to cut more because my hair is fine and it tangles easily and it breaks easily compared to the other strands, I'm still able to retain length on my front section if I'm not being extra with it. But if I'm obviously not being careful with it, I encounter more breakage around here. And I do have breakage due to other times when I was not very careful, when I was not handling my hair gentle. Okay, so I still have that, and I'm still working on growing those sections out. And yeah, so I have shorter pieces here and there and there and there and there. Anyways, if you want to wash your fine hair, I would recommend to wash it in sections, because from my understanding, fine hair tangles up easily. It's easier to tangle upon itself because the strands are fine, and once it tangles upon itself, it's more difficult to get it apart without breaking the strands, without breaking it. Okay, so in order to avoid or limit the amount of tangles you encounter whilst washing your hair, first of all, I'd recommend detangling your hair before you wash your hair, because if you don't detangle your hair before washing, the tangles will be more stuck into your hair, and it makes it even more difficult to detangle your hair after washing. So it's best, or I'd recommend, to detangle your hair before washing and keeping your hair in sections whilst washing. I, for instance, wash my hair in twists. Depending on the size of the twist, you might have to loosen the twist up a bit so that the shampoo can really get into the strands and get your hair really clean. Because if the twists are too tight, the shampoo might not be able to get everything out. There might still be build up in the hair. Okay, so make sure to put your hair in sections, be it twists or be it braids, but make sure the sections are not too tight so that the shampoo can still get through. For fine hair, I would recommend to use lightweight products that won't weigh your hair down, because since your hair is already fine, if you apply heavier products, it would weigh your hair down, especially if you have fine hair and thin hair. You know, thin hair is when the density of your hair is not much. Like you don't have a high density, you have a lower density of strands on your hair per square inch. Okay, so if you have a combination of fine and thin hair and you don't want your hair to look even more thin, then it's best to use products that are not heavy, because it will weigh your hair down. So I'd recommend to use something lightweight leave-in conditioners, lightweight spritz, mousse, and lightweight oils. Okay, you can still get your hair moisturized. You don't have to use heavy butters, but you can if you want to. But then your hair might not look a certain way. You might be going for a certain style, but because of the weight of the product on your hair, you might not achieve the same look. Where else someone with thicker strands of hair, the results would vary from yours because of their strands of hair. Also note that having fine hair is one thing. Then you have to know what your porosity level is. Is it high? Is it low? Or is it medium? That also determines what kind of product you have to use. Generally, if you have medium porosity, your hair is neither high nor low. That means you can use a mixture of thicker products or lightweight products. So let's say you have fine hair but you have high porosity. Usually for high porosity, it is recommended to use heavier products to seal in the moisture, since the cuticles of high porosity hair are more open. So in this case, what do? I recommend to still find a balance between applying products that are not too thick and not too lightweight. Okay, you still want to keep your hair moisturized, but you don't want to have your hair weighed down. If you don't mind the weighed down look, then by all means you can go ahead and use just heavier butters in order to retain the moisture in your hair. But if you do mind the look of the weighed downness of your hair, can I even say that? I don't know. I said what I said. Then you might consider using a mousse or lightweight product, and then you have to just make sure to moisturize your hair more frequently. Okay, because obviously if you don't apply heavier products to high porosity hair, you have to moisturize more frequently. So keep that in mind. Styles that are too tight. Styles that are too heavy, styles that involve too much manipulation, okay? Styles like braids that are way too thick for your strand of hair. Like you have fine hair, but you're rocking this thick braids because it looks good, or locks, or this goddess twist and all that. It looks good, but at the end of the day, you might encounter too much breakage because the weight of this style is too much for your fine hair to bear. So you actually, instead of protecting your hair, you're actually causing damage. And at the end of the day, when you take your braids out, your twists out, you see that actually you were not able to retain length because you lost a lot of hair because it was too heavy for your hair. And other styles that involve too much manipulation, because you have to part here and you have to part there and you have to part here and here and here and here. You're manipulating your hair way too much. All these manipulations cause breakage here and there. And since your hair is already fine, you want to limit the amount of manipulation you do, because it just breaks. It breaks very easily compared to medium strand hair or thicker strand of hair, okay? So just be sure to avoid unnecessary manipulation when handling your hair for a particular style. Choose a style that doesn't require too much manipulation and you should be good to go. Now, what kind of protective styles can you do in order to retain length to protect your hair? I would say styles, like I said, that don't put too much tension on your hair. You can do updos, but make sure not to pull it too tight to the extent that you have a facelift. That would definitely lead to breakage, okay? Especially where you're applying the most tension. Secondly, you can do braids, definitely, but make sure that the braids that you apply are not too heavy for the section of hair that you're working with, okay? Make sure that you're using enough of your own hair for the particular amount of braids that you're doing. I hope that makes sense. So let's say this is a section of hair you want to put the braids in. Make sure that this thickness can handle the amount of hair attachments that you're going to attach to the hair. The best protective style, I think, for fine hair are wigs. Why wigs? Because wigs, you braid your hair up in cornrows, and then you're pretty much going to be wearing your hair in the braids for, I think, a week or 2 weeks, depending on how long you leave the braids in. And then you wear your wig, and your hair, you're not going to manipulate your hair, you're not going to take it out, you're not going to do anything to it except for moisturizing. Obviously, you're still going to moisturize your hair as needed. Your hair won't tangle up upon itself. Hey. Yes. So your hair won't tangle up upon itself if it's in the braids and you're just leaving it in the cornrows. Yeah, you're good to go, and you can moisturize your hair as often as you need. If it's every night, moisturize your hair every night. Oil your scalp, make sure to keep your scalp moisturized, and make sure to put more moisture on your edges so that you don't lose your edges when wearing the wig, because regardless of what hair type you have, if you're not careful when wearing wigs, you can lose your edges. It doesn't matter if you have fine, thick, or medium strands. It doesn't matter if you have fine, medium, or thick strands of hair. You're still gonna lose your edges if you're not careful when wearing wigs. Other good protector styles are crochet braids, crochets, any kind of crochet. This applies to all hair types, okay? But especially, like I said, for people with hair that is fine. You want to be extra careful, extra gentle, extra patient when handling your hair. Every single comb, every single tug, every single thing you do to your hair can lead to breakage if you are not doing it carefully. Treat your hair like it's so precious. A lot of people who are trying to retain the length, they want to grow their hair to a certain length, to, I don't know, bra strap length, mid-back length, waist length, hip length. Yeah, you know, all these kind of lengths. It takes work, patience, and mostly it's up to you how you handle your hair. What you do determines what results you're gonna get. Okay, so if you are doing the most to your hair and you're expecting it to grow, or you're expecting to retain length, then my sister, my brother, it's not gonna work. It won't work. So if you really want to grow, on a more serious note, if you really want to get your hair to a certain length, then look into the things that you are doing and change something. Change things that might not be working for you, okay? Try and do something else, because you cannot do the same things that you've been doing and expect a different result if what you're doing has not been working. That means there has to be a change. So that might be in the form of being more gentle. You might think that you are gentle, but maybe you are not gentle enough. So maybe you might have to be even more gentle. Consider the kind of styles that you wear. Maybe you wear your hair out too much. That also might not be good for your fine hair, because then it dries out easily and then therefore it breaks off, or it tangles up easily and then it breaks off. So consider those things, okay? There is always room for improvement. Even myself, I am not perfect. I'm not sitting here to be like, yes, I've figured everything out and yada, yada, yada. No, I still learn. I'm always learning about my hair. There are certain things that I discover and I'm like, oh, I thought I knew, but then I don't know, because sometimes my hair reacts differently than I expect, and I'm still learning how to figure things out, how to be even more patient, how to be even more gentle with my hair. Because I've mentioned in a couple of other videos that there was a time where I wasn't gentle, I wasn't handling my hair properly, and then for those 2 years I wasn't able to retain length, you see. So it all boils down to how you handle your hair. So guys, I hope I did not ramble too much and this information actually helped you, and if it did, then kindly show me that by liking this video. Also, don't forget to leave your comments below if you have any questions or suggestions as to what kind of video you want from me. Also, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and turn on your post notifications so that you know when I upload my new video. Thank you so much for watching this video. It is your girl, Obaa Yaa. Yes. Bye. See you in my next one. Any hosey.